Okay, it's good to see somebody's on, even though we had to change times. How is everyone? I see Taylor, I see Carrie, and then somebody on their phone who I cannot tell who it is. How's everybody doing? Y'all can speak up. All right. I may give just a couple of minutes to see if anybody else will hop on. And then I'll get started. Super excited about this call. It's really, really good info. Oh, thank you, Carrie. It's like one thing after another. I mean, I feel like I get one kid well, and then the other one gets sick, and then that kid gets well, and then the other one gets sick, and it just goes back and forth. Oh, but I wanted to share this stuff with you guys because it's really good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Just because since we're at like a different time, I know it's not gonna be, it's normal attendance. So this is for team leaders and above, but you guys, I mean, if you have senior stylists who, you know, have several stylists on their top leg, I would totally share this call with them because this is really for anybody that just has more than, you know, 1 to 2 stylists. I feel like when you have 1 to 2 stylists, you're still able to have like a good like chat on Messenger, and so it's a little bit easier, right, in the beginning when you have 1 and 2 stylists. But then when you start to really grow, and especially when you start to get multiple levels, coaching calls and then coaching your stylists is just a must. And it's really, really important to stay connected with your stylists. So today we're going to talk about coaching calls. We're going to chat what they are, why have them, who to coach, and then what will a coaching call look like? And I know, hey Ashley, I know you might be thinking like, oh, but I don't even know, like, I can't even coach myself. How can I coach someone else? Or, you know, you might feel like you don't have the ability or the experience to coach. But I really want to remind you guys, sometimes somebody just needs somebody who can help them along the way, who doesn't necessarily know all the answers, but at least is there to guide them to the answers. And thankfully, we have so many resources and tools within our team page in the virtual office that, and with this training, you're going to feel a lot more confident with even thinking about coaching calls. I have done coaching calls in the past. I'm not very consistent with them, and I like really got convicted when I was listening to this training at the leaders conference, because it just reminds me how important it is to stay connected to our team. And the one thing that this, and honestly I can't remember who did this training, but the one thing that she said that like really made me stop and think, and I want you guys to stop and think like as well. But she said our compensation plan pays us to serve and support our team. And it really was like a gut check for me, because, you know, like my whole income is mainly team bonuses, right? Like that supports my family in ways that I never expected. And for a while, I kind of feel like I've just been like sliding by with, you know, doing some trainings here and there, or, you know, being there. I'm definitely there for our team, but definitely not doing probably as much as I could for the amount of money that I'm making. So I want to remind you guys, like, the team bonuses that you're getting, that is corporate paying you to support and be there for your team and to coach your team. That's not just like oh, you got lucky and have people under you. That is corporate's way of paying you and compensating you for leading and supporting a team. Okay, so is that a gut check for anybody? Because it really was a gut check for me. Because obviously we get our sales, we get our commissions from that. Like, we feel like we earn that, right? And then like we feel like team bonuses are just like an extra, oh, we got our team bonuses because we signed people up and they're selling. I feel like it was just a big gut check for me. Like, no, that's corporate's way of compensating me for training and coaching and supporting, so that obviously it brings more money to corporate, right? Okay, so with that gut check, I want to chat about what a coaching call is. We're going to get into like who to coach and things like that, but first let's chat about what a coaching call is. This is, like I said in the beginning, not something that you feel like you have to know all the answers. This is a way for us to really start to get to know our team. I don't know if, it does not matter what size team you have, whether you have 2 to 3 people or 100 people. It's our job to know our team. And we do a really good job, I think, in the team page of like team culture and things like that, but to really get to know the people in your downline. So you're basically drawing out everything that's internal for these stylists that they probably already know, but you're drawing it out of them. And it's basically that bridge between like just being a stylist and then actually succeeding. So what a coaching call is not, it's not a counseling session, which especially for those of us, like if we know the stylist and are like kind of friends with them, it sometimes can turn into like oh, here's what's going on in my life. Like, it's not a counseling session. It's not a catch up with your friend session. Like, you're there to work for 30 minutes. Like, put your heads down, work. So if you're friends, great, but this is not a time to catch up. If this is somebody who has a lot going on in their life and they start kind of unloading things on you, like, if it keeps going on and on and on, like, just gently kind of come in and say, hey, like, I totally understand you have a lot going on. If it's deep stuff, you guys, like, make sure they're getting help, but like, you're not their counselor. Okay. So I would just like gently say, hey, I know you got a lot going on, but like, let's spend this time focusing on your business and kind of get the call. So like, you're in charge of the flow of the call. Okay. If y'all have any questions as I'm going, feel free to type it in the box and I'll try to get it answered. So with these coaching calls, you want to try to get past the yes and no questions. You're there to ask questions and listen. A lot of the times for me, I feel like maybe since I am kind of the moderate, I determine the flow of the call, I'll feel like I need to talk a lot, but really we're just there to ask questions. And like I said, kind of draw that internal out of them. Because most of the times these stylists they're going to know what to do, how to succeed, but it's kind of our job to just ask the questions and basically say like, are you doing the things that you should be doing? So some questions, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but like, what do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? And what do you do well? Those are some like just first off questions that you can ask to kind of get the conversation going. But that's what a coaching call is. Like I said, not a counseling session, not a catch-up session. If you want to catch up with somebody, go grab coffee or call them on the phone. This is a sit-down business call, and really, really see it as that. Okay, so next we're going to chat about who to have coaching calls with. One thing they said, which was really another gut check for me, was we cheer everyone on. So we're everybody's cheerleader, but we only coach those who have the most desire and are showing the most effort. So there's going to be girls who only want to BQ, or there's going to be girls who don't even care about BQing. Those are probably not going to be the people that you're going to want to get on a coaching call, because it's going to probably be a waste of your time. you're going to want to coach the ones that want to be coached. So cheer on those that are making sales just to make sales, and if they happen to be cute, great. And then coach the ones who really want this. Okay, so here is a breakdown, and you guys, when you get off of this call, I want you to go to the virtual office. I want you to go to the resources tab and go to resources library. And under, I want to say it's under training, there are a couple printouts that I want you guys to actually print out and look at. The first one is, it's the coaching guide. And this is kind of what it looks like. A lot of really good info. The next one is the coaching checklist. I'm going to talk more about these in a little bit, but I just want to show you. And then the other one is the coaching tracker. So we have some really good resources now. These are brand new. And it's going to kind of go over the things that I'm already going to chat about, but I want to make sure that you guys go print that out afterwards. But here's a little breakdown of who to coach. First off, new stylists during their first 2 months of business. First 2 months are crucial, right? I feel like those are the most crucial because it's them getting started, them learning things, and then actually like starting to apply it. So weekly, it would be really great to get on a coaching call with your new stylist. Again, remember who are the ones that are really, really wanting this? Who are the ones putting in the effort? Who are the ones that are having these goals that they want to meet? If you have a new stylist and she doesn't care about BQing, she doesn't care about really anything, just because she's a new stylist does not mean that you have to coach her. So when I'm reading these off, like, you really just have to remember to coach the ones that want to be coached. So weekly, you'll want to have a coaching call with new stylists within their first 2 months. Another weekly coaching call would be stylists with a big goal to promote to team leader or above. We all know senior stylist is like really exciting, but the big jump is team leader because it's helping one of their stylists get to senior stylist. So there's a lot of coordinating going on. There's a lot of help that needs to be had. So if you have a stylist who's like pushing for team leader, pushing for director or above or whatever, that would be a good person to have a weekly coaching call with, just to make sure that they're on track with that promotion. Here are 2 people to have bi-monthly meetings with, so 2 times a month. Stylists who want to kickstart or restart their business. So say you have a stylist who came to you and they're like, I haven't been doing much, but I'm really wanting to get back into it. Okay, I would start scheduling coaching calls with her for every 2 weeks for maybe a month or 2, just to kind of get her kick started back in the business. And then the next one would be a stylist who have set goals to achieve specific incentives. So the either like the it was a cruise last year, it's Mexico this year, like that would be, if somebody has some goals to hit that would be somebody you would want to have a meeting with or a call with. The incentives for like BQing, 3 months in a row, that's an incentive. So you may want to have coaching calls with that. Coming up to conference, it's like a big thing for people, to have like the highest rank, that they want to be on their name tag. So you might want to have a coaching call with them. Circle of excellence. Guys, this is a huge incentive. And if you have people who are like ready to do that and ready to like really hit circle of excellence, maybe even have like a group that you all get on, at the same call twice a month. And then the last one is like what you would do monthly. And this is for those of us that have larger teams. And this is what I'm starting to do because I miss seeing your faces, but that's leaders at the rank of team leader and above. So basically just going over this, but since I already do this, if y'all just want to hop on those, you're more than welcome, or you could do your own, totally up to you. And then something else to think about is to recognize that there might be people within your downline that aren't your personally sponsored stylist, but that are really showing a lot of effort and want of the business to be successful. And you might be that, that leader above them, that if you would just reach out to them and say, hey, like, I'm seeing you're really working this business. I know your upline might not be as involved. Would you want to hop on a coaching call? And you can kind of pick and choose. I think that would be really beneficial. And like, they would think that they would see that as, oh my gosh, she saw me, like she recognized my hard work. And not everybody is lucky to have an incredible direct upline, right? So that might be somebody that you want to have a call with. Remember to keep these from 20 to 30 minutes. Anything over that is just, I feel like we start to ramble, and you want to just be respectful of their time and your time. Okay, so let's chat about like what to do during the call. Because that to me can be the most intimidating thing. Like, okay, well now I'm on with them. What do I do? What do I say? Like, yes, we're the one that guides the conversation, so we need to know what to say. So first of all, just know like the more questions you ask and the more you get them to talk, the easier it is for you. All right. So some things to coach on. First of all, you're going to send them this coaching checklist. Again, this is in the virtual office. You can send it to them. They can print it out. They can email it to you. They can fill it out. They can screenshot it. But it's just kind of a rundown of like, obviously their name, their goals, their current rank, their why, how much income that they want to make by a certain time, any incentives that they're going after. And then it also has somewhere in here, it has where they can write down their PV, their group volume, how many active stylists they have, kind of all their stats. So make them fill this out before they get on the call with you. If you go and see that they have not sent you this or they have not filled it out, I would reschedule. If somebody cannot fill out a form and send it to you, then that just kind of shows they're not ready for the call. And I wouldn't waste your time on that. So just simply say, hey girl, like I hadn't gotten your list. If you can send it to me now, that'd be great. If not, like let's reschedule. The great thing about these checklists is it gives you like a rundown again of their stats and where they're at, their goals. So then you feel a little bit prepared of knowing what they're going to want to talk about. And again, if this is like a call this is like your second, third, fourth call with them, I would also like review your notes from the last meeting. So kind of be prepared. But you're going to go over making sure they know what color 10 is. You guys, we don't talk about that enough like on the team page. And I'm shocked at how many people don't know what it is. Color 10. It's really important that every stylist knows what that is. If you don't know what that is, go look it up in the virtual office. So making sure they know what that is and that they're doing it, because that's the foundation of our business. Going over booking nail bars. Lots of ideas in the coaching guide, but it's just basics. Increasing sales, increasing enrolling success, creating a plan for customer care, just all the business details. But again, asking questions is going to be like your biggest thing. So in the coaching guide, it gives us 5 steps to a great coaching call. Biggest thing is be prepared. Have your stylist again fill out the list, review the submitted checklist, and determine recognition opportunities for during the call. Review action steps committed to in previous calls. I just went over all that. Starting the call, follow the coaching checklist, modeling the GROW coaching conversation. So let's chat about the GROW coaching conversation. It's right here. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see it. So there's 4 steps, and it's going to start with goals. You're going to chat, what do you want? So what income do you want to earn? What would you like to accomplish by the end of this call? Do you have any specific incentive goals? How many nail bars would you like to book? How many stylists would you like to enroll? So just basically figuring out their goals and what they want from the call, from the business. And then you're going to go into reality. So what is happening in their life right now, so we can figure out how to get the goals that they want with what they're given in their life at this time. So tell me about your schedule. How many nail bars have you booked this month? what were the sales and bookings from your past nail bars? So basically seeing like their stats and where they're at now, and if they're aligning with, and their actions, if it's aligning with the goals that they have. O is for options. What will you do to achieve your goal? What ideas do you have that will help you reach your goal? Can I share what's worked for me and others? Let's brainstorm a list of options you might consider. What would you need to do to stop, or what would you need to stop doing in order to reach your goal? And then the last one, W, is for what will you do? What 3 things that we've talked about trying to appeal to you most? What 3 to 4 tasks do you think you need to do this week to begin moving? So it's just putting that like into actions at this point. Make sure that you print this out, because this is really good stuff, and this is going to be like the basis of your call. All right, so you're going to open the call with recognition, congratulate, so writing down all the ways that you can recognize them, review the purpose of the call, what does she or he most want to accomplish, what areas of the business are challenging for them. 3, the third thing to do, coach and commit. Identify goals and roadblocks that the stylist may be experiencing. And guys, you may think that you know going in like what they're going to talk about. And I just, again, want to encourage you, like asking questions and like really getting them to open up and talk is huge, because we might think that we know what we want to help them with, but they might have other ideas. So creating conversation, using the GROW method, asking how committed are you to the 3 actions to achieve your goal. And here's an example. And I really like this, because if you can get somebody to verbally say, I'm committed to this, and you write it down and you're taking notes, that's accountability. And that's your way of, in like a week or so, maybe the next call, or maybe it's the end of the month and she hasn't hit her goal yet, you can say, hey girl, I remember on the call you said you were committed to this, and you were so committed to whatever. And that's just another form of accountability. So asking, Julie, how committed are you to do the 3 activities we discussed in order to achieve your weekly $500 income goal? Simple as that. There's no pressure in it, but if they say, I'm this committed, then you can write it down and remind them. That's such great accountability. All right, wrapping up the call, validate and acknowledge progress made as a result of the call. So again, like, you'll do great. I know you can do this. What was helpful for you today? Get them to kind of reiterate what you've been helping them with, so you know that they were listening and that they understood. Schedule the call for next week or in a couple of weeks, and then follow through after the call. Update your notes and place them in your team binder. So this is something that you're going to want to track, just like you would track your customers. It's really, really, really important to do that. Our customers know when we're tracking them, and they can tell because you know what's going on in their lives. The same thing with their stylists. So having a binder, having a virtual binder, if you don't want like a physical binder, having a virtual binder where you have like files, Google Docs, Google Forms, whatever you want to have, but tracking it and keeping it organized. I love this. However, I worry that I'm not going to be able to help them, and I'm not going to help them reach their goals. So, and that's totally understandable, especially if you're like a newer, which I know you're not new, but for those of you that are on this who might feel like you don't have the qualifications to help them, that's where I want you to take the pressure off of you and put it on to them, because our business is very simple. It all comes down to color 10, and that's what you're going to go over. You're going to go over color 10. So if you don't know what that is, definitely figure out what that is. You're going to go over booking nail bars, going over customer care, following up, all these basic things. Don't overcomplicate it. Remind them that this simple stuff, they just have to do it. So you're not there to teach them. This is not a teaching lesson or a teaching call, okay? they can find teaching lessons in the virtual office under training. They can find it in the unit section. They can find it in our Foundations to Flourish group. Those are all the basics, and that's never changing. That we don't have to reinvent the wheel to hopefully help our stylists better. Like, you're not there to teach them at this point. You can point them to where they can find out, the how to, but you're there to just coach them along, like figuring out what their goals are, helping them figure out what their goals are, and then helping figure out, like, is what they're doing right now going to get them to their goals? And if it's not, helping them figure out, like, okay, well then what can we do to align your actions with your goals? I myself struggle in areas, and I know my girls under me have the same issues, such as booking or recruitment. Tonight taught me I need to step up my game. I swear I need coaching. Well, I mean, and that's something that you might want to speak to your upline about. Maybe they're not on this call, but I don't think it would hurt to be like, hey girl, like, I'm really wanting to kind of up my game. Can we get on a call? Don't hesitate to go to your upline. If you feel like they might not be in the space to help you, go to the next one. But that's what these meetings are going to be for. So our monthly leader meetings from now on are going to hopefully be very helpful for you guys to learn how to coach and lead and support your team. But I want to take the pressure off of you having to know everything, and for you having to be a pro at sales, a pro at nail bars, a pro at recruiting. That's not your job. Like, that's your personal business. Like, you're not there to train them. What am I trying to say? Like, separate your personal business and what you know as a stylist from being their mentor or from being their coach. Because again, your job is to just be like that. Like I said in the beginning, like, you're just that bridge of, like, here are your goals, here's where you're at, and here are your goals. I'm going to help you kind of get to where you want to be by just being there, being your accountability, like talking it out with them. Say, they have questions and you don't know the answer. So, you know what? That's a great question. I don't feel like I'm very, I don't feel like I know all the answers to that, but here's where we can find it. So if anything, your job is, the only thing you should know is where to point somebody to figure out the answers. Does that make sense? So, like, if you don't know anything, the only thing you should know is if she asks about recruiting, you should know where to send her to get help on that, which is, there's a lot of good stuff in the virtual office. There's a lot of good stuff in the team pages. The stylist sneak peek, like, hey, utilize that group. So I hope that is helpful, but that's great questions. I mean, I think we're all kind of hesitant, fearful of needing to know all the right answers. And two, if you're newer, like, just be honest and be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, like, but I want to help you, and we're going to get through this together. So with that, let's see what else. And the biggest thing, you guys, is practice. So your first calls are probably not going to be perfect. Your fourth call is probably not going to be perfect. Just think of it like nail bars. Like, nobody probably feels like they have just perfected their nail bars, in the first 10 parties that they have. Like, I still am, like, redoing my parties. I'm still changing things. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. Just like recruiting, just like nail bars, like, practice is going to be huge. And it's going to be the thing that gets you from fear, hesitations, and not feeling like knowing what you're doing to, okay, I'm feeling like I know how to help people now. I am confident that I don't have to know all the answers, that I'm really there just to help guide them to the right answers, and be their accountability, letting them know that you're there to support them, letting them know that your time with them is important to you. Because I think that's the biggest thing to remember is relationships. Like, if anything, these calls are just going to make you feel more connected with your stylist, And that connection, you guys, is what's going to keep people around. I promise you, I've been in this long enough to where I've seen people stay around who have not had any success, but they cannot bring themselves to cancel because they love the people that they work with, and they love the team, and they love the community aspect of it. And that's really ultimately the people that we want to reach. Because if we can get people committed to stay, then like we have more of a chance of helping them. And then obviously it helps our teams. But anybody have any other questions? Was this helpful? I mean, guys, I think the biggest thing, because I'm not like the best when it comes to this, I've kind of gone in like a roller coaster of I'll be great with them one month and then the next month I fall off. So I think printing out these coaching guides and the coaching checklist, like when you get to look at this, you'll get like a better understanding. Yes, exactly. Absolutely. And people can tell when you're genuine, and people can tell when you really want to help them. And it's not just I'm checking in with you 2 months before the end of the month and I just want to know if you're going to be cute. You know, like that's not what we're going for at all. And that's what I want to completely change. I want to stop I'm looking at them as just a number or a box in my downline, that I'm working with the ones that want to work. I am making sure that I'm supporting the ones that want support. And when you can let them know that it's like week 1 or 2 of the month and you're reaching out to them, and it's not just to see like if they're going to be cute, that means the world to them. So yeah, that's a great analogy, like to think of them as like VIPs, because not everybody's in it for the business. Some people want, the relationships. But does anybody have any other questions? You guys, this is really important stuff. I'm not the best at teaching these things, but the resources are really good. So go check them out in the virtual office. And then really just do it. So don't just learn about it, apply it, try it, practice it. Maybe get an accountability partner, go within the team leader and above group and pick out somebody and say, hey, like, let's keep each other accountable and let's commit to 2 coaching calls a week or something like that. And then, let each other know how they go and if it bombed or if it was great but yeah, I think that's it, you guys. I am so sorry that tonight I had to get on early. Let your team leaders and above know about this call. I'm going to try to do the recording tonight and have it up tonight so that people can watch it. But if not, remind them about it tomorrow or the next day, because this is where it's at for your teams. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all have a good night. I'll chat with you guys later. I'm praying, you guys, for a bundle announcement. I don't know if it's happening. I honestly do not know. I am praying for a bundle announcement early next week. Our team's looking great without it, but I think it would be even more fun to have bundles. But thank you, Carrie. I'm so glad y'all all popped on, and I see Chastity and Angie and some people on a phone. So y'all have a good night. I'll chat with y'all later. Bye.